Hello, this is Retro Collectors. That's Greg. I'm Jason, and today we're talking about Tomitronic 3D and Astro Wars.
Tomitronic 3D?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you said.
Today's episode of Retro Collectors is sponsored by Build the Back to the Future Delorean from Eagle Moss, Greg.
That's right, Jason. We are sponsored today.
I know, we don't normally do sponsorships, but the quality of this has really made us want to feature this in our video. It comes with a magazine every month, which is filled with instructions on how to build your model and interesting and fascinating things all about Back to the Future that you probably didn't know. Even some of the biggest fans might not know some of this. For example, the concept artwork for the original DeLorean in the film. Do you know what I love about this set, Greg?
What's that, Jason?
It's how easy it is to put together. The parts are fantastic and the instructions are really clear. And it means that anybody could do it, really.
Are you suggesting even I could do it?
Yes.
And the best thing about this, Jason, is, do you know what? Go on, ask me, Jason.
What is it, Greg?
It gets delivered straight to your door.
If you use the link and the promotional code in our description below, for just $2.99 you will receive the first kit, which contains the first two issues of Build the Back to the Future DeLorean with the first two sets of parts that will start you on your journey in building the Back to the Future DeLorean. You will also receive, Greg...
$2.99?
Yes. You'll also receive a free Back to the Future DeLorean ring binder. 50% off the second kit, which comes with 4 magazines and 4 sets of parts for your DeLorean. So with that offer, you will be well on your way into building the Back to the Future DeLorean.
And let's be honest, you haven't got much else to do at the moment.
No. Yes. Yes.
Look at this.
Oh, they can't actually see any of this, Greg.
Look at that bit there, when I crashed, was hilarious.
If you just turn the sound off, it might not... That's better. What do you think, Greg?
Oh, they're just brilliant, aren't they? I can't see.
It takes you right back. Mine's Sky Attack. Greg, you've got Thundering Turbo, haven't you?
All my friends call me that, Jason.
Do they?
Thunder Turbo.
The Tomitronic 3D was released in 1983 by Tomy, Greg.
Sorry, which one haven't we got?
There were 7 games that were released.
Oh, was there?
Yeah. The Sky Fighters, aka Dogfight, Thundering Turbo, that's the one you've got, Sky Attack, Shark Attack, Planet Xeon, Jungle Fighter and Sherman Attack. Yeah, so it was released by Tomy in 1983. Tomy did later combine with the Takara company, and they're now known as the Takara Tomy company. They were once rivals back in the 80s. But Tomy, obviously, Greg, were a very famous toy brand back in the 80s.
Still are, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're still making toys, but in terms of the toys that we had when we were kids, there was lots of them, wasn't there?
Turn down the lights, it's lights alive, it's lights alive, lights alive.
Turning turbo dashboard. Remember that?
Say that quickly.
The turning turbo dashboard. I'd like to get hold of one of those.
The turning turbo dashboard.
They also made Omnibot and Chatbot and various other robots that I would like to collect. The Tomytronic 3D games, Greg, in 1984 were retailing, the recommended retail price was £27.95.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
In 1984 it wasn't an unsubstantial amount of money. So these were the first real 3D electronic hardware that you could get in terms of games. However, they were superseded by the Viewmaster, weren't they, Greg? The Viewmaster came before these.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm just thinking, the price still bothering me. I just can't believe how expensive they were. Honestly, I think that's a large amount of money for what they were. But then again, there was nothing else like it, was there, really?
No. So they were similar to the Viewmaster in the fact that they simulated 3D with 2 different LCD screens inside. So there's 2 little screens in each, one in each eye there. They weren't backlit, but they do look backlit when you're playing them. You have to be in the light area, and this little window here lets in the light, which makes them appear backlit.
Just like the Viewmaster. So which one did you have then?
I didn't have any of these until I was older. Until I bought these a couple of years ago. In fact, I found that one in a charity shop.
And how much was that?
I paid £10 for that. And this came in an auction lot, which I think we talked about at the time when I bought it, because it was fantastic, full of electronic games, but we never really went into detail about them. So all of the games are controlled in the same way. You have a left and a right button, and either a fire or an accelerate, or perhaps something else.
It's this I love.
Yeah.
I just love that. So you're never going to drop it, are you?
So that, you know, you can walk around. You can be walking around the supermarket with your mum and fancy a game of Thundering Road. Or
not really, because you'd end up
Attack.
in the peas. To be honest.
So yeah, all of the games are pretty much the same, which is, you know, which was a thing back in the 80s. It was moving across the screen from left to right or firing at something.
I didn't know you could accelerate.
You're right there, Greg.
I've been going slow all that time, and yet I was still crashing.
And they obviously had that familiar sound that games had back then. You're right, Greg. What's the matter?
It's just brilliant. I didn't realise that. I didn't know you could accelerate. I must have been playing it for years, just going left and right, like slow in the car while I'm on about. I didn't realise that. That's great.
Brilliant.
Love that.
Incidentally, we are filming in a new space, and we do now also have an address. Over the years, many people have asked us for an address to send things to, haven't they, Greg? Because they'd like to send us
money.
something. Not money, just things. And we have an address, so if you do have anything that you wanted to send us, please get in touch via email, which is tnt@totgoo.com.
I found that board.
That's tnut@totgoo.com, and let us know, and we'll send you the address.
Doesn't have to be in capitals.
Doesn't have to be in capitals. So that is the Tomitronic 3D. Coming up, Greg, we're talking about Astro Wars.
Did you put an effect on your voice then?
No.
Would you like one now?
Yeah.
Try again then.
Astro Wars.
The astonishing Tomitronic 3D games. 3D thundering turbos. Only the most courageous driver can win. And 3D sky attack. Invading UFOs threaten to destroy a planet. They must be stopped. Tomitronic 3D games. Packed with 3D action. Only from Tomy.
Are you ready, Greg? Listen to this. This is one of the sounds of my childhood. That's it. That's the game. Astro Wars by Grandstand is fantastic, Greg. And there will be people out there now who, like me, have fantastic memories of playing Astro Wars.
Just going to throw this out there. Because I'm a little bit younger, this wasn't really around as much when I was growing up.
You didn't have it, Greg? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I had them. I just didn't need them because they were old by then.
Astro Wars, Greg, was an electronic tabletop game made by the company Grandstand.
Grandstand?
Now, that's a name you'll recognise along with Tomy. Tomy,
Yeah, used to
obviously.
be on TV every Saturday, didn't he?
No, not the programme, Greg. The toy makers. Tomy, obviously, were a Japanese company. Grandstand were a British company based in Harrogate, and they may have had offices elsewhere in the world as well. Here's
Fascinating, isn't it?
Here's an interesting fact for you, Greg.
Here comes another one.
Grandstand never actually made any of these games.
Well, they just put the name to it.
Yeah, they imported it all from Japan, from companies like Tomy and a company called Epoch, and then they put their own branding on it. Rebranded it to a Grandstand game.
Aren't we awful?
What, that we couldn't make it?
Yeah.
But, to be fair, in the 80s, all of the good electronics were coming out of Japan, weren't they?
True, Jason.
Japan and China and all of those places were making all the electronics that we had. And often still do in some cases. Grandstand, you might remember other games that they made, Greg.
Go on then.
Caveman, remember that? Scramble.
Scramble?
Firefox.
Yes.
F7. We'll feature that on another episode.
Yeah, keep going.
but the one that really brings it back for me that I'd love to get hold of is BMX Flyer, which was one of their handheld games. You will remember it when you see it. It was yellow, and it was a BMX game with a multicoloured LCD on it.
It is funny though, Jason. We've spoke many a times. Just that couple of year gap that we have, it does make a difference in the toys that was brought out.
Does, yeah.
Because, you know, them 13 years between us.
5 years, no, 3 years.
Things, it's 4, isn't it?
4.
The things that don't. It's definitely 4, Jason. But that is a lot. There is a lot. That's a lot of change that you're going to happen in 4 years of toys. So this would have been top notch for you probably then.
Yeah.
But it was probably fading out when I was that age.
And that's the thing with the 80s, isn't it? Things moved on so fast.
Yeah.
Technology-wise, if you look at the beginning of the 80s when we were playing things like Blip, the mechanical game, then we moved on to these kind of electronic games, and by 1983 and 84 we had the Spectrums and the computers coming out and things like that, so things were marching on very quickly, so these kind of things did have a short shelf life.
But no, you did well there.
Thanks very much.
That's what I was going to say, because my first memory of games was my Spectrum.
Yeah.
So everything you had on here, you had that and more on the Spectrum.
Yeah, whereas my first memory of games was this, the Invader 2000, we'll talk about that in another episode, and those kind of games. Obviously all of this was long before Game Boys and things like that took handheld gaming to another level. If you wanted handheld gaming before that, it was one of these or a Game & Watch or anything, but obviously your TV gaming fast became a thing that was done on a computer.
Again, age thing. Although I do remember that Tomy thing, the driving with the gear.
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the last one.
Yeah, I know.
Turning turbo
That's what I always
dashboard.
remember though, and I still can't get one, Jason.
No.
So send one of them in, please.
This, Greg, Astro Wars, was also known as Super Galaxian in Japan and Galaxy 2 in America.
All the excitement of the arcade can now be yours, right in your own home. Here comes Galaxy 2 with its magnification screen and space-age sound effects. Imagine the destiny of the universe is in your hands. Can you knock out the attack force before they knock you out? 4 different game actions, including an exciting docking maneuver. The joystick helps you achieve successful docking. If it's arcade action you're looking for, look for Galaxy 2, the home game of space warfare from Epoch.
The concept of this game, Astro Wars, right there, is very similar to Space Invaders and Galaxian games like that, in that you are a ship at the bottom, which was called called the Earth ship of the screen, and you fired up at rows of ships that came down. I'll put some footage of the gameplay in there. It had 4 skill levels, Greg. Level 1, alien fighters attack one at a time.
I reckon level 2 was alien fighters attack at one time, but combat speed is faster.
Yeah. Level 3, alien fighters attack 2 at a time.
And you'll never guess what level 4 is. Alien fighters attack 2 at a time, but combat speed is faster.
Yeah. You finish the game when you score 9,999 points or lose 5 ships.
5-1.
Ships.
Here's one for you. I bet no one's ever done that.
Oh, they have. There's
No.
lots of people who've done it. In fact, I think I probably did it at one point. You don't understand, Greg. These were the only things we had to play with. So yeah, we did spend a lot of time playing them. Like Tetris, how many hours did you spend playing Tetris?
Yeah, no, see again, that's the next step. I was Game Boy more than this, probably, and I was
there
playing
you
that all the time.
Incidentally, there were 2 versions of this that was brought out. The earlier version, Astro Wars, was written in red, and this version, slightly later, the Astro Wars, was written in white. So if you've got one where the writing is red, that's because it was a slightly earlier version.
I see. Them are the things I really love to know about. Is that true?
Yeah.
So is that worth more then?
I don't think it really affects the value, but it's just the 2 versions that you will see out there. Often you'll see these things and you think, well, that's not Astro Wars because it's got red writing, but it is Astro Wars. It was just an earlier version.
I love stuff like that. I remember there was a wrestling figure, Jason, and one of the details on one of the wrestlers is Kamala, actually. He had his painting on his belly, but one of them was put out there with a different painting on. It's worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds now.
Is it?
Not just that one. I mean, they released a load out. So if you've got one of them... Anyway, sorry, Jason, I just diverse. I just moved on to something else there.
I hope you've enjoyed Retro Collectors today. We've enjoyed ourselves looking back at a couple of these electronic games that really bring back memories. We'll probably be playing Tomytronic for the next half an hour or so, won't we, Greg? After we've had a coffee. No?
No?
Oh, just me then. Thanks for watching Retro Collectors.
Gonna go and play my Switch, to be honest.
Don't forget, you can get in touch with us at tnt@totgoo.com. That's tnt@tot.com. And like I said, there are a few people who have asked over the years if we have an address that they can send anything to. We do now have an address.
We're moving on, aren't we, Jason?
We are, yes.
We're moving forward. We promised you we would get this going, and we're doing it. We're doing our best in these very
Trying
difficult times.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back with another episode of something in the very near future. See you soon.
Jason doesn't want to put a time on it. I'll say we'll be back a little sooner than that.
Thanks.
Try.